Welcome back to the Best PT Podcast. This is episode 2.17, talking about orthotics. We'll talk about two different types of orthotics, broken down into lower extremity orthotics and spine orthotics. Starting with the lower extremity, we have the very common ankle-foot orthotic, or AFO, which can be a solid orthotic or an articulating orthotic. Usually it has posterior leaf spring, which assists with dorsiflexion to prevent foot drop. There's also a floor reaction AFO that assists with knee extension. There is the knee ankle foot orthotic, the KFO, which has a mechanism at the knee that locks and unlocks to provide knee stability. There's a special type of KFO called a Craig-Scott KFO. This is designed specifically for those with paraplegia, that allows the patient to stand with a posterior sway of the trunk in order to hang on those Y ligaments to provide standing stability at the hip. The hip, knee, ankle, foot orthotic, the HKFO, controls rotation at the hip as well as abduction and adduction of the hip. This is a very heavy orthotic and it restricts gait. There is the reciprocating gait orthotic, or RGO. This has a cable system attached and is essentially an HKFO. The slackening or tightening of the cable assists in advancement of the lower extremities during gait. So when a patient shifts their weight, the cable system tightens and advances the contralateral leg. The final type of lower extremity orthotic is a parapodium. This is a standing frame that allows the user to sit when needed. This is primarily used in pediatrics. Moving on to spine orthotics, a corset may or may not use metal uprights with the purpose to provide abdominal compression to relieve back pain. A halo vest is an invasive cervical orthotic that limits all motion of the cervical spine. So this is usually indicated post-trauma to the cervical spine, such as a car accident. A Milwaukee orthotic promotes realignment of the spine due to scoliosis and extends from the pelvis to the upper chest. A thoracolumbolsacral orthotic, or TLSO, is a custom molded orthotic used to prevent all trunk motion. This is usually applied post-surgically, such as with a spinal fusion. The mold is usually bivalve in style, which means that it can be donned and doffed. It's not a permanent orthotic. And the final type of orthotic I'll discuss is the Taylor brace, which is a special type of TLSO that limits primarily flexion and extension, but does allow some side bending and rotation. That's it for orthotics for musculoskeletal conditions. As always, the outline for this episode will be in the show notes. The next episode and last episode of the musculoskeletal system will be episode 2.18, talking about prosthetics. Thanks for joining me.